Coming up on this episode of the Designers of Change podcast.
Your feet will never take you where your mind has never been. Your outer life is a reflection of your inner life. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Yes.
And so when you remove the shackles from your mind, you can live a better life. You can move in the direction of your dream.
Thank you for tuning into the Designers of Change podcast. We are at episode 32.
Yep.
And on this special episode, we want to talk about how do you build self-confidence that's needed for good success. And I think in a world like today, a lot of people think self-confidence is actually something else. So I want to break that down really nicely for you. As usual, my co-host, Mr. Wright, CEO of Mind Food International, is here to help us with that discussion.
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
self-confidence anyway?
I mean, before we even go into what is self-confidence, I want to give a quote by our national hero, Marcus Garvey. For those who don't know, if you are not a Jamaican, Marcus Garvey is one of our national heroes. And he said something powerful. He said, "He who lacks self-confidence is twice defeated in the race of life." Let me say that. He said, "He who lacks self-confidence is twice defeated in the race of life."
That's powerful.
And so when we have self-confidence, is a belief that you have in your own self and knowing your own worth in layman's terms. So self-confidence is believing yourself, knowing your own worth, having the right identity about you. Now, without self-confidence, we can't achieve very much, because you need that a level of belief in self to know that I am good enough, I'm worthy enough, I can get this thing done. So we need self-confidence. We need self-confidence if we are going to be successful. We need to know who we are. You know, before there's a word that we normally joke, it's bigly, BIGLY. Before Donald Trump, that was a grammatically in construct. And guess what? Because Donald Trump is confident in who he is, he spoke that word so much that bigly, BIGLY, is now a word, it's now an adjective in the dictionary. And so when you are confident in who you are, it makes you believable.
True.
And so if you lack confidence, even what you are pursuing, even what you are saying, we are not going to believe you. And so when you have a level of self-confidence, you know who you are, then even if you are saying something that is not even truthful, if it's saying something that is even foolish, if it's coming from a place of confidence, it makes you believable. And one of the first thing about building self-confidence is knowing who you are and know your value. And here's the thing about knowing who you are and knowing your value. The first thing is to know your identity.
Yes.
Who am I?
Yes.
Because you can't know your worth, you can't know your value unless you have a solid self-image or identity of who you are. And guess what? You can't get those self-identity from things that will move, like your car, your shoes, your job, your house, where you live.
Right.
You can't get those things because those things are always moving, and if you place your value, they can change. If you place your value and your worth and those things that are constantly moving, it simply means that your self-value and your worth will move. Because guess what? If I place my value and how much money I have in the bank, if I place my value and my title, then what if I place my value and say I'm a lawyer? What if I was debarred from being a lawyer and I get all of my worth and
From
my
that.
confidence from that? So if
You're
I'm
gonna be lost.
debarred, you're going to be
That's
lost.
gonna be crazy.
And so to know yourself, you have to find who you are.
So
the source.
identity is the first thing. I mean, if you root your confidence in who in your source, in God, then you're doing the right thing. You're at the right place. But if it's coming from something external, if it's coming from something that can be changed, can be taken away, you're in serious problems.
Yeah.
Because really and truly, and that's what we see today in society. You know, you look online, you see people, they root their confidence in what they drive,
Yes,
where they live,
yeah.
their friends, their social status, and those things are so fickle. What about self-talk? What does that have to do with confidence?
Yes. All right. If there are some of us, we speak to ourselves in such manner that if people could hear our self-talk, if we speak to others the way we speak to ourselves, it would be deemed verbal abuse.
Yes.
Because some of us, we speak to our own self. We
In that
put down
manner,
in that
yes,
manner.
yes,
We
yes.
put down
I'm
our own
guilty.
self. We put down
I'm
our own
guilty.
self. We don't see any worth in our own self. So self-talk is very important. What am I saying
To myself.
to myself? Because guess what? The only person you cannot get away from
Is you.
is you. And if your internal dialect
Internal, yeah.
is miscued from the truth of who you are, if it is negative, if your self-thought is abusive, then guess what? You are going to lack confidence in yourself. You're going to
Powerful.
be an agnostic to your own
Wow.
self.
Wow.
And so you need to guard
That's
your
self-talk.
the voice that is in your
Powerful.
head. Probably you need to change it. You know, there's a song that talk about the voice in my head, but you got to speak to it. What is it that the voice that is in your head saying? Is it the voice that in your head is diminishing you as a person? Because if that's so, that is not who God created. You know, Paul said, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
strengthens me,
So the
yeah.
first part, I can do, it's a part of being self-belief, because
Right.
you cannot do anything that God called you to do until you believe in
You
yourself.
have to believe it to be true
So
first.
he said, I can do all things.
And
So
then he says, through Christ
who strengthened me.
That's
so
powerful.
the first part of it, I can do
I
all
know
things.
I can do
I know
it.
I can. That
Yes.
means you believe in yourself. You
Yes.
have confidence in yourself. And so that is the thing that you need to replay. He said,
Those are
think
the
on
things.
these things,
Yes,
whatever
yes.
is true, whatever is
you know,
noteworthy.
You know, as I started my journey into self-discovery and just, you know, knowing who I am, of course, self-help books helped. But we know the Bible, the Word
Yeah.
of God is powerful more than anything else. But in those same self-help book is the Word of God. That's
Yes.
what they use, you know.
Yes.
And I remember at a particular point in my life, I did a YouTube video with some affirmations, and somebody was pretty much saw the video and posted and saying, oh, these people, they're teaching self-help stuff which are not rooted in the Bible. And I was so annoyed, because I was like,
Yeah.
all of those affirmations are coming
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
the Bible.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
are they talking about? Do
Yeah.
they understand how powerful self-talk is?
Yeah.
You know, referring to what you want and where you want to go by saying I am
Yeah.
already there. Do they understand
Yeah.
that God himself say I am?
Yeah.
That I am?
Yeah.
You know, so these things are so important. And then, you know, if you want to build self-confidence, just before we go on the break really quickly, if you want to build self-confidence, you are going to have to find a way to stop comparing yourself to others.
Yeah. Do you know there's a research? It shows that the number one feeling or the number one emotion that a person feel, the number one emotion or the number one feelings that a person feel when he open any social media app is jealousy.
Ooh.
Is jealousy. Why? Because we are always comparing
Scary.
ourselves. Before we are now comparing ourselves with the social media Joneses. So it's no
Not the
longer
Joneses
next
next
door. So
door.
we are no longer comparing ourselves with the Joneses next door. But no, we are
Yes.
keeping up with the social media
Jones.
Kardashians.
Oh, Lord.
So we are now in an era that is built on AI, that is built on filter that we can edit and
And
doctor.
people do
doctor
all
that
kind
video.
of things,
Yeah.
right?
So if you're going to compare yourself with other people, it is one of the most slippery slope into discontentment, into lacking self-confidence. And so that is why when an horse is running, those big nice thoroughbred is running, they put on blinders because you don't want to get caught up in anybody wrinkle feet. You have to be focused on my dreams and my vision. You can't be over here looking at somebody else's doctored life, because we have said it before in many podcasts that what most of what we see with our own eyes, we are easily deceived by our own eyes. And so what we see with our own eyes does not tell the entire story. So stop comparing yourself with people that you have no idea to. Don't compare yourself to your neighbor. Trust your own process, run your own race, because the moment you look to your right, to your left, comparing yourself with others, you tend to become you're going to be distracted. You're going to be distracted. Sometimes people become jealous. Sometimes you compare yourself and say, oh my God, I'm doing something like that person. I'm not good like that person. Nobody will want my product. Nobody will want my song. Nobody will want my book because I'm not good as like that person. I can't write like that person. And guess what? The moment you are doing that is the moment you are lowering yourself. Is the moment you are slipping to discontentment. The moment your confidence erode. And sometimes it can even work the opposite, where we become arrogant because we are comparing ourselves with others. And say, you know what, I'm better than this person. So the comparison trap is a dangerous one.
And again, the same jealousy you feel when you open the app will cause you to treat people different.
Yeah.
You know, because when you're seeing good things happening to people, you may be jealous and you start treating them poorly because you feel as though that should be you. You know, it's just as he said, it's a slippery slope. You don't want to go down there. We want to just take a break. When we get back, we are going to wrap this up really nicely for you, just to give you some steps as to how you can build your self-confidence for good success. Stick and stay. Welcome back to the Designers of Change podcast. We're talking about good success, building self-confidence for the good success, because you cannot, as Marcus Garvey said, you're twice defeated if you lack self-confidence. We want to say a huge thank you to our sponsors, major sponsors, Jace Myrie Media, Mind Food International, Superlative Auto, Proactive Lifestyle Limited, and we have some more. You want to stick and stay, listen, we'll advertise everybody at the end. Right now we're strapped for time, but you know, you mentioned a number of things that cause people to be lacking in self-esteem, in self-confidence. Now we want to talk about, how do you build that self-confidence? What do you do? How do you do it?
The first one is you have to move beyond your limited mindset. And how do we do that? We need to build a reservoir for our own mind, or a stream of information, knowledge to our own mind. Read good books, get mentorship, listen podcasts like these, and so that you can build your mind, because your feet will never take you where your mind has never been. We say that so many times, and it is true.
You should know it by now.
Your feet will never take you where your mind has never been. Your outer life is a reflection of your inner life. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so when you remove the shackles from your mind, you can live a better life. You can move in the direction of your dream. You know, back in slavery, when the slave master didn't want the slave to progress in life, all they had to do was prevent the slave from reading. But the moment a slave become educated, the moment a slave read and expand his mind, then that slave throw the shackles off their mind, because they know freedom for an individual is always in your mind. Because if you know the truth, it shall set you free. And so you need to move beyond the limited belief of your own thinking. Remove the barrier, remove your own self-imposed limitation. And that is one of the surest way to build confidence.
Absolutely. What about just securing small wins?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people say, oh, I don't have the confidence to do that. You have some things that
Yeah.
you have under your belt
Yeah.
that, you can look at and say, man, I've done these things. So that means that I am credible, right?
Yeah.
You have to remember those wins.
Yeah, all of us have wins. The balance sheets of life, we have losses and we have wins. So the very thing that you set out to do in life, you have wins in there. Even if you're not winning as yet, look in your life, do an audit of your life, become an accountant of your own life, or an auditor of your own life. You're going to comb through your life and find out where are those small wins.
Right.
And you're going to think about those small wins, build on those small wins. Before David takes on Goliath, David recalled the victory that he had against the bear and the lion, and that was enough to boost his confidence. So think about those small wins, those amateur wins. Probably you are a good chef, probably have cooked at a few small events before. Whatever it is, use those small wins to build your confidence, build on those small confidence wins.
Absolutely. And then you want to also add value to others.
Yes.
So while you're building your small wins, also volunteer. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Service to many leads to greatness. Sometimes you may not be in demand yet, but if you make yourself useful, right? Offer your services, do some freebies, some pro bono. You'll have more to show for what you can produce.
Yeah. And here's another one. You develop confidence by taking action.
Yeah.
Let's say you want to be a public speaker. You're not going to be a public speaker by just reading books.
No, sir.
The other day, the other day, a gentleman, he called me. He's a young man just like myself. He wants to become a public speaker. And I told him, apart from reading books, listening to audio tapes, learning about the era that you want to become a good speaker. And I told that young man, you can start by speaking at school. Because if you speak at school, speaking is like driving. The more you drive, the better you become at it. But you're not going to sit down the entire day replaying your conversation or replaying a speech in your head. Many times we know the speech. Many times we know that as a speaker, your speech sounds better in your head
than when you actually do it.
And I told him the only way you're going to build confidence as a speaker is to get in front of those small events, get in front of those kids, and you practice on them, practice. And then like a driver, the more you drive, the better you become. And so through doing, learning and failure, learning from your failure, you are building confidence. And again, you are building small win. And again, you are building momentum. So all of that, it starts to add to your balance sheet. You have more asset than you have liability. You have more wins now. And so your confidence is growing little by little. But if you sit down there, you're not going to become confident. So guess what? Do the small things excellent, repeatedly, repeat it, and it will compound.
Absolutely. Now you also have to renew your confidence after setbacks and failure.
Yes.
Failure is one sure way to knock you down.
Yes.
You will lose confidence when you have failed. You've experienced obstacles. But guess what? Remember, we always talk about this on the podcast. That very same thing that has caused disruption is the very same thing that's going to sharpen you as a professional, as an individual. And listen, you see, after the failure, you see, after the setback, that is when you become confident, because you know that storm did not take you out. Instead, you have become a more advanced, adaptive, a more agile professional. And that's what you need. You need some failures under your belt as well. And the bounce back is usually better than who you were before. And the last point, renew your confidence with God.
Yeah.
With God, man, that's when you are truly
I want you to wash your mind.
Believing in yourself.
Wash your mind with the word of God. You know, Paul said, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. The first part we talk about, to have true confidence, you must have your true identity, and it must be rooted
In God.
in God. Because when they are building a skyscraper is built on bedrock. Bedrock is a part of the earth that will never move. So they anchor the foundation and bedrock, so that when the winds of life come, earthquake, the building sway, but it always come upright because it anchored to something that will not move. You are going to have setback in life, but when you anchor on the rock of all age, when your identity is built on God, someone who never change because he's the rock of all age, guess what? The more things change, the more you rely upon those things that does not change. And so you, my friend, will have true identity, you will have true confidence, and you will go for it, because you can't become successful in life if you are not confident. As our national hero Marcus Garvey said, if you lack self-confidence, you are twice defeated in the race of life. And as Apostle Paul said, I can do. You know what he said? He said, I can do all things. I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me. That means the first part, I can do all things, meaning that I am confident within myself, because you know what? I don't want you to be an agnostic for your own self. And the last thing, speak kindly to yourself, love on yourself. I'm not telling you to become a narcissist, but think on the thoughts that God wants you to have about yourself. And if you like this video, if you love this video, if you want us to help us to pay, Jace is right there laughing, then do us the right thing. Do something that put a smile on our face. Hit that subscription button for us and subscribe, and tell someone else that the Designer of Change is a very good podcast.
Yes, please.
Tell another friend.
We appreciate you, and I really enjoyed this topic about self-confidence. Many of us lack it. Many of us will work on it, but so grateful for the gems you've shared. So grateful for our sponsors as well. Jace Myrie Media, Mind Food International. Of course, if you need training, staff development, reach out to us. We will make that happen for you. Also to Caribbean Gospel TV, Superlative Auto, Grace Creates, Amanda's Kitchen, Jess's Home Decor, The Self-Care Bar, Mag 24/7 Wrecking Services, also to SK Catering and Proactive Lifestyle Limited, Regional Consultative Services, and listen, so many more companies will be joining us, I know, because we need help on this mission. But we're so grateful to be able to sit and chat with you. Stick and stay for more episodes on the Designers of Change.